Can't lie, I'm not
How you
happy
feel?
though. I'm not happy. And I know like I was watching the draw live and you saw my thoughts really because we were communicating around that time. And yo, nah, bro, like we definitely have the toughest route. Like there's two brackets of the thingy, like that meme where like there's a castle out there, it looks haunted, and there's rainbows,
Oh,
sunshine.
is
Pirates
it
is on the
just
other
like
side, and we are on the dead side because Esperance the
y'all are, y'all
Tunis,
are, y'all are looking at it like this? I
yo,
see.
yo. And I know Sundowns is not the only team that's wary because we have Mamelodi Sundowns versus Esperance Tunis, Al Ahly versus Al Hilal, and yeah. We got Esperance, the Tunisian champions right now. Miguel Cardoso's former team, actually. He was the,
Interesting.
yeah.
Oh,
And what makes this more interesting, he was the guy who knocked us out last season in the semifinals because Esperance de Tunis faced us in the semifinals of last season's Champions League campaign. They beat us 2-0 on aggregate. They moved on. They were losing finalists to Al Ahly. Yeah, but speaking about this specific quarterfinal, it's gonna be interesting because you don't know what to expect with North African teams in knockout ties. But what you can expect is that
true.
they're gonna make it really hard for you to win, whichever way,
Yeah, no, that's
whether it's them playing now football or other external factors as hostile environment, their fans, being the 12 man antics on the pitch, making it uncomfortable for the officials and the players to play there. And yeah, all I'm gonna say is that it's gonna be tough if we actually go through. We're gonna need to be on our A game.
I think I can agree that you guys were dealt a very heavy hand in terms of the draw and your route going to the final. But I will say again, as you said, the tidbit that your coach is facing his former team, meaning that even though they're not playing the same way that they used to, he probably knows a lot of those players. He
Yeah,
probably knows how the ins and outs of most of the players. And I would imagine, obviously, I wouldn't say football is not so like straightforward in that way that because I know I played with I coached you, I know everything about you, but I would imagine that he probably might have an idea of how he would want to set up
yeah,
against a team like that because he was in that league, so he knows how those types of teams play. And that would be very interesting to see how he goes about it. I think, it's not an easy game, not by any chance, especially, teams going up there. I always say going up to those teams, top of Africa, it's very difficult.
yeah,
There's no small fry. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a very interesting tie. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm sure for both teams. Specifically, I think for Sundowns, they usually around this time, they always make it either to the quarters or the semis. So this is kind of like now we just kind of need to get the job done because I'm just looking at our other South African counterpart
yeah,
and just looking at they got an interesting draw as well. MC
yeah,
Algier.
yeah,
Yeah, and don't know too much about them myself
yeah.
personally, but I would imagine that for the most part, Pirates have done pretty well in Africa.
Facts.
They've kind of done well in terms of getting results, especially away fixtures most of the time. And I mean, they got the biggest result that they got, winning away Al Ahly,
Yeah,
that's probably like one of the African fixtures that they've played in recent history. So I think that in itself just shows that they are starting to understand how to go away to those teams, away to those difficult places and get a result and actually, know how to play there. Because for the most part, it was only Sundowns because your guys are the only ones who had that experience. And it's
yeah.
like now Pirates are really doing that thing to say that, what, we also want to get to that point now where we're just like getting used to it. And I'm very interested. I don't know about you. What are you thinking in terms of the Pirates versus MC Algier?
I think Orlando Pirates and Pyramids FC, also counting as far, are probably the three teams to watch on that side. And MC Alger, no respect, no disrespect to them, but probably the weakest when you look at the four teams on that side of the bracket. Although they are challenging for the Algerian Premiership up there, I think Orlando Pirates, they have proven that they can go to North Africa and come out with a result. And let's not forget, Orlando Pirates actually have some history to look back to, a bit of pedigree. They've made CAF finals in the 21st century, even though their title win in the CAF Champions League was in the 90s. During the 21st century, in 2000s and 2010s, they still were like a respectable team in continental football. So they will have to
Yeah.
they will have that to lean into. But looking at their side of the draw, bro, we have a team that's playing African football for like 3 years now in Pyramids FC. They only have three
Okay.
seasons in African football. As far they're that team that always gets to the next round, but not really seen as a contender or a challenger. And I
Okay.
think they're the standout team, and they look most likely to go to the final on that side of the bracket. And I hope they do. And I hope we get a South African derby in the final, which is two legs. So yeah, I think that would be a great moment for South African football. But yeah, all in all, we didn't even touch on Al Ahly, the defending champions. They're going for a three-peat, which hasn't been done in by any team in African football.
Which is crazy because I mean this the Champions League this is their bread and butter.
Yeah,
So I think them playing Al Hilal, that's going to be interesting. I think Al Ahly might they might get theirs. I think they're most probably going to get the result there. I think Al
yeah,
Hilal, no disrespect to them, just be like Al Ahly, they know what they're doing. This is their competition. They've
they're
got the stars to prove it. So, yeah,
the Real Madrid of Africa, basically.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much. So I think for that, I'll give them the nod. And I think overall, I think for me, when it comes to continental football, I try my best to leave my football bias and my allegiance to Kaizer Chiefs aside and just support, any South African teams that are in the competition.
yeah,
So I think the prospect of a South African final would be immense for South Africa as a whole, for the South African League as a
yeah.
whole. That would be massive because I think that's never happened before. Because
It's
I think
never.
there's only been two teams that have won the Stars, and those were in two different generations. So just goes to show how hard it has been for South African teams in this competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, now we've got two teams representing us, and I think we are. I think what it's only Pyramids and Al Ahly. They're the only Egyptian team. So then in South Africa
Yeah,
with the Sundowns, and so I think we were very well represented as a country, and I think the prospect, the idea, I think Sundowns, if they're gonna make it to the final, they're really gonna have to work for it.
yeah.
They're really gonna have to work for it because I'm just thinking, if you can get past Esperance, then you gotta go play against Al Ahly, and I mean, damn, your history with Al Ahly, it's
Aish,
it's a
we've
hit
had
hit or
we,
miss, hit
we've
or miss.
we've had some good memories against them, but it's a different beast with Al Ahly in these games because we have played them in
Yeah,
semifinals before. But
yeah,
they'll always be up for continental football. But my side,
yeah,
I think, looking at both our South African teams, they're not necessarily like counted out. Both teams are part of the
no,
favorites. Both teams are part of the
true.
favorites, but most will look at the side of the bracket with Esperance, Sundowns, Al Hilal, and Al Ahly, and think that the winner will obviously come out from that pot. Whoever goes through from that side of the bracket is most likely to win.
True.
But overall, all these matchups are quite interesting because even though we mentioned we don't know much about Alger, which might be an advantage for them actually against Orlando Pirates, Pyramids, and Asfar, unpredictable game. This is why I love continental football in Africa because you never know what's gonna happen with these. There's no favorites here, dog. Like Shanghai,
Any
anything
team
can
can
go in here. Yeah,
anything can happen, and I think that just adds to the intrigue. And I think for me, I'm interested either way. Obviously, I'll be hoping that our teams can get the job done, but
Yeah,
either way, I know it's going to be cracking games for. I think all the games will definitely be entertaining. So yeah, I think from us, we will be there to react to everything that happens,
yeah,
and we'll be there to react and to just comment. But yeah, we just wanted to share our thoughts live and just not live. I mean,
yeah,
but maybe coming soon. Yeah. But I think we just wanted to, share what we thought and just have our thoughts. But yeah, I think from you and I, our socials will be down there, and we'll keep on continually and consistently coming with the football content because the football doesn't stop,
yeah.
so we don't either. But from Mo and VJ, I think yeah, no foul play. Stay tuned in.
I've got